One day, someone is going to explain what the point of all these Disney live-action remakes is, because if the studio was on the verge of bankruptcy, then I can understand. Except it isn't. Disney owns everything! They're shutting down franchises left and right. If I boycotted every non-Disney blockbuster for the rest of the year, I'd be reviewing Hobbs and Shaw as well as that ghastly new Terminator film, and that would be it! Probably. But as long as the Fantastic Four show up in the MCU and people with creepy DeviantArt accounts can giggle like Japanese schoolgirls over the fact that the Xenomorph is now a Disney princess, I guess no one else cares that Disney owns everything. And it's not like they're using that money and power for good. People that work for them have to live in their cars. They're decimating the environment, and they're releasing films like Aladdin. 2019, not the 1992 one. Now, I want to make it clear that I'm going to be making minimal reference to the first animated version. There's no point, as it would be like comparing Hellboy to Hellboy. Everyone knows which one is better, and doing the old compare and contrast ain't going to help anybody. No, I will judge this pointless film on its own meagre, fleeting, pitiful charms. Starting with the director, who 20 years ago was the toast of British cinema, with two stone cold classics in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch. He then made arguably some of the worst films in history, and then definitely made some of the biggest bombs in history in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and King Arthur Legends of the Board. He does a mostly passable job here, which is all that Disney seems to ask from these films, which I imagine is going to make a lot of money from toy and merchandise sales, because they ain't going to make much from this film. For those of you unaware of the plot of one of the most well-known fairy tales of all time, it's simple. According to IMDb, this film is about a kind-hearted street urchin and a power-hungry Grand Vizier who, via for a magic lamp, has the power to make their deepest wishes come true. My wish for that $183 million budget to be spent on a Dread sequel has not yet come to pass. Now, it's a very simple plot, and I'm fairly sure that with a couple of interesting songs and a competent villain, as well as some interesting practical effects mixed in with top-of-the-line CGI, massive budget, remember, nothing less than top-of-the-line will do, this could work. Oh. Look, I applaud the fact that they actually hired non-white actors for the lead roles, and, give me a second, there must be other things this film did well. Oh, the CGI monkey and parrot are pretty good, but they're going to age very poorly, very quickly, as is the fate of all CGI creations. The songs are watered down from what you might remember, and were I comparing films, I would say that the original film songs were faster, better, got stuck in your head, and were generally more fun to watch, as if cartoons are better at being cartoons than live-action CGI hybrids with overinflated budgets. But as I'm not, then I won't. What I will say is that these actors, who all seem to be perfectly nice people, and I'm certain this is a star-making turn for at least one of them, no, not you Jafar, you go back to The Mummy, Ben-Hur, What Happened to Monday? Mental note, avoid anything this guy is in if possible, but none of them have the slightest bit of chemistry with each other. The pace drags with unneeded, unnecessary characters and subplots, killing what little momentum the film has. Did the genie need a love interest? What's the point in another prince hanging around? He could have been a viable and interesting competitor for Jasmine's affections, but instead he's a joke who could have been cut completely. And Jafar, the cool, interesting, manipulative, sophisticated villain, what have they done to you? He's played by yet another very dull, very nice piece of cardboard who, like every non-Sultan male in this film, has yet to discover that shirt buttons have a function. And is about as cool, interesting, manipulative and sophisticated as Donald Trump, which is what they've turned him into. They've stupidly given him a backstory for no reason I could work out. Disney villains, much like James Bond villains, don't need backstories. Giving him a song would have been nice. Jasmine gets a song. It's irrelevant, kills the pacing, the choreography during it sucks, and it gets sung twice for some ungodly reason, but it's there. Kids were fidgeting during my screening. I was fidgeting. The whole thing was just falling flat for me, and it shouldn't, because all the ingredients were there, but there was just something not clicking for me. The whole thing looks very set-like. It was hard to believe in the world because it didn't look like a world. It looked like a bunch of sets in a made-for-TV movie. Moments that should have excited and charmed were dull and uninteresting. Instead of allowing Richie to put some grit in this world, it all seemed so wholesome and Disney. I don't mean go full Dark Knight on this film, but a speck of dirt here or there would have ruled. And then there's the big issue with this film. The big blue, some of the time, issue. A role in this film portrayed by one of my childhood icons, who in my eye could do no wrong until After Earth, and then he just seemed to be failing around trying to recapture the effortless cool that he just used to have. It's the same here. When he's doing his Will Smith thing, he's fine, but when he's trying to be the genie, he first of all falls victim to some really bad CGI, and second, he just seems lost, waiting for direction that never seems to come. What else is there to say? This is yet another live-action fail from Disney with the same issues that Dumbo had and that The Lion King is probably gonna have. It's bloated, padded, dull, in dire need of a serious visit to the editor's suite, some serious reshoots and some new sets. Apart from that, it's yet another Disney masterpiece. So I definitely think you should skip it. And why are Disney making all these live-action movies? Do you know? Can you comment below and tell me? Until I find the answer, I'm Daniel, this has been a Donkey. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.